Hey fam, we're back in the garage today and we're going to be talking a little bit about air. Not the air that we breathe, but air to air up our tires, and exactly what I went with since my ARB single compressor went out. Stay tuned, Jack to Jeep. Alright guys, so many of you may know that my ARB in my Rubicon went out. It went out about the same time as I bought the CJ7. Now when I initially bought the CJ7, I was thinking I'm just going to do a power tank. I'll either buy a power tank, or I'll buy a Smitty built one, or I'll buy the parts and the components to build one because I have no problems building it. Then I started doing more research. And a larger power tank, they are expensive, $600. The ARB to fix it would have been about $100, but then it's mounted to my Rubicon. I had all these different things and all these different problems that I was looking at for air, something that shouldn't be that big of a deal. So started doing research, like I said, talked to a lot of different people that wheel, a lot of people that have used both ARBs, power tanks, different things like that. And the one thing I heard across the board was, because the amount of events, the amount of times I go wheeling during the summer, I would basically be paying $20 to $30 a pop a month to fill up the power tank, which is a lot of money if you add that up, over time. Plus, it's about 27 pounds. It's not heavy, but 27 pounds for one vehicle, it's, again, no big deal, but I'm like, okay, it's heavy, blah, 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 blah. So what did I decide to go with? Well, what I decided to do is I decided not to fix the ARB in the Rubicon. I also decided not to go with the power tank or a Smitty build or any type of CO2 air system at all. But what I did is I got something different that I can move to any vehicle and it'll work, with anything. So the great thing about it is, yeah, it was more expensive, and I think before I open this up and show you guys probably already know by looking at the case, I think as a consumer and as a content creator on YouTube, we have a responsibility to our viewers, you, to know that sometimes cheaper isn't better, and you get what you pay for. And that's what the case is with this here. I ended up buying the twin cylinder ARB with the additional tank on it. Now this whole system, it ran right over $900, but the catch is I can move this as is right here and put it in any vehicle. If I'm going out with the Rubicon, I just throw it in the Rubicon. If I'm taking the CJ out, I'm taking the CJ out, no big deal. The great thing about this, because of the tank and because it's a twin cylinder, this has a constant run, where the single ARB only has a 30-minute run time. Then you have to let it cool down and then you can rerun it. And I think that's the problem that I was having with filling up the 35s constantly. I may have left it on. Who knows? I may have left it on and it may have burned up the wire harness. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, I ended up going with this. I already aired down to 10 PSI on this tire here. It sure doesn't look like it. These Milestar Patagonias actually have a really strong sidewall, so it doesn't break down as much. But I assure you, I already I'll edit in that I did a check-in on this. But what I'm going to do real quick, it's kind of hard to see. I talked a little bit about the weight of a power tank. And a full power tank, for a 20-gallon power tank, I think I read it was like 27 pounds. 27 pounds. So I have my little luggage thing here. Let me turn it on. Boop, 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 boop. Hello. So once this is on, I'm going to go ahead and weigh this. Again, power tank's full is 27 pounds. Of course, it gets lighter as you use it. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see how much this weighs. So this is running at about 31 to 32 pounds. So roughly 3 to 4 pounds heavier than the power tank. Of course, the power tank, yeah, it's going to be quicker. I get it. It's going to be quicker than this setup. But I still want to find out how long it's going to take for one of these. In another video, when I review the tires and do some different things like that, I'm going to actually get my quad air system out and hook up all four and have it all blow up and test that, but that'll be on a different video. You're going to have to follow for that one. But in the meantime, I'm going to open this up, get it all set up, and air this up to 40. I'm going to use my cell phone. I'm going to record the screen so I can put it on there and so you guys can see exactly how long it takes. I already know because I already did it once, but I'm going to do it again just so you guys can see it and go from there. So normally I would actually turn on the Jeep. That way it's running, that way you don't wear your battery down when you're airing up. But it's pretty cold outside, it's like 12 degrees out. And I'm in the garage, I don't want the heater on because it's loud. So I'm just gonna fill it up with the one tire, that's why I'm keeping it off. It won't kill the battery this way. So, one sec. All right, so in here it does have an on and off switch. Once you hook it to the battery, the toggle switch will illuminate regardless if it's on or not. So that just tells you you have juice going to it. Everything else is good to go. Now what I really like about this system is at first I was trying to figure out how to fidget and how to install this. It's not hard. They made it to where you just push it in and then you push it down to release it. That's it. That simple. Love it. I'm going to fill that. I'm going to turn it on, let it fill up this reserve tank real quick, and then we'll get to air in this one. So if you listen, you can hear there is actually, the fans are running in it. That's the only sound now I have until I start airing it up, of course. It doesn't always hold. The only thing I'm not sure I like is that it doesn't have this reserve all the time. It does fill it up each time. But in the meantime, I do have it ready to start recording here. I'm going to start recording it. Let me hook this up first. All right. Set it there. We're going to push start. All right, guys. So it took about 4 minutes and 40 seconds, right under 5 minutes, to fill up one tire. All right, let's recap real quick. So before you go out and just purchase stuff that might not work for what you need, I think the most valuable piece of information I could possibly give you is invest time. Time into researching how you're going to use it, what do you need it for, and look at reviews for it. I never had a problem with my ARB, the single one. I believe the reason it burned out was because of my own negligence and leaving it on over the weekend while it was parked in the garage. I didn't want to have to fill up air tanks and have that extra hassle of trying to find a place to air those up with the CO2. Plus, you know, yeah, I could transport it from vehicle to vehicle, but what do I do when I'm like a couple days we're going to be driving to Arizona? I don't want to be putting an air tank in my wife's car. I would much rather be putting this ARB twin case in there. It's cleaner. It's not going to have a problem. So definitely do your due diligence and research. Research what's going to work for you and your application. Don't take my word for it. Don't take, you know, any other YouTuber's word for it. Take your own knowledge on your research, what might work for you. Again, if I had one Jeep, I would probably have just fixed the ARB and left it at that. Now, if it was a Jeep like this one with the 40s, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do the single. I probably, if I would have just had this one, I may have just invested in an ARB tank. I'm sorry, a power tank. But I don't. I have two Jeeps. I need to figure that out. I also have other vehicles that we drive with this twin system that's in a case. All you do is close it up. Make sure everything's in there you need. Right over 30 pounds, not too difficult. It's not dirty. Keep it clean, you're good to go. Thanks again for watching Jack's Jeep. Please make sure you're leaving it better than you found it. My name's Steve and I'm out. Later.
You can call me stupid. Yes, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy. You can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me. And if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break, no, I know I won't wait.